Welcome to episode 26 of the Global Exclusive Podcast. I'm your host, Hazard. And joining me this week are Cotton.
So, multitasking, yay!
Dream Blitz.
I wasn't expecting to go back to individual lines.
Muspel.
You and me both.
And Dairy Boy.
Yes, that name has started to stick for some reason.
I'm so glad it has.
You shouldn't have told us.
About that name, Dairy Boy.
I don't know, it wasn't the
Love it so
after talk. I
much.
thought nobody listens to the after talk. So.
No one's listened to the actual talk either, so.
Well, that's true.
Bharos is not here this week. He contracted some global virus of some sort.
God damn it, you just ruined my sponsorship.
A very sore throat from unnamed activities.
Wow.
Whoa.
Dream
Dream is bringing it up.
Dream is doing the best tribute he could
I
to
thought it
Bao
was
Bharos'
right.
is
name.
practicing social distancing by distancing himself from our podcast.
You just ruined my sponsorship. I was going to say he was sponsored by Bharos, who was in the hospital because it lasted more than 4 hours.
Okay. So it's that sort of episode today. Okay.
We have to compensate for
then.
his absence.
Just like Bharos compensates all the time for his small resource.
Get us started, people. And there he goes again. This will be fixed in post. No, this will be fixed in
Just
post
pretend
production.
everything's fine. It'll be in the recording.
Yeah, this will all be fixed.
I think we're ready. We're prepped. So this is our 6-month anniversary episode. Unlike Gumi, as Clay said last week, we actually do celebrate our anniversaries. So this is exciting. I hope you guys really enjoyed Clay's episode last week. It was really fun to have him on, and we're looking forward to having more guests. So, but to celebrate our 26th episode, we are recording live with a whole bunch of people that decided to be here at all sorts of hours of the day. Is Rigoro here? Did he make it?
No, I think he was asleep.
Yeah, Rigoro went to sleep. He said he couldn't stay on.
How many people
R.I.P.
are in here, actually? Can you get, like, a count?
Yeah, can one of our listeners count, please? Thanks.
I mean, none of us
It's at
can
least-
count.
It's at least 25.
Hey, if you're listening to the podcast, they jolly well could put in some work too, right?
Looks like about 30.
I feel like this crowd that we have here might be the weekly listeners that we have, and that's everybody.
Yeah, they just keep refreshing it to get those view counts up.
This week we have an agenda. We are going to talk about Final Fantasy 12, everybody's favorite game this banner has been long awaited because of how much people love Vaan as a character in Final Fantasy 12. And he's secretly, or not so secretly, Shadow Walker's man crush.
You could grind meat on those abs.
Ow!
I mean, meat's not the only thing. Meat's not the only thing you would grind on that.
I was going to say, it sounds like that's what Shadow wants to do.
There we go.
Sadly, Shadow has said worse things on this very podcast. So,
And if you missed it, you can go back and listen to it.
please don't. So we got 3 units from that banner, which is Secret of Freedom Vaan. We got Dancing Heart Penelo and Blue Sky Belle Fran.
Oh yeah, I forgot she
Fran.
existed.
Royline. Did you? Because she's like the peach emoji in FFBE form.
Oh, okay.
We've also got enhancements to talk about. We got Sacred Shield Charlotte. We got Morgana, Elena, and Soul. So that's pretty exciting. There's varying levels of awesome among those. I'm very excited for Charlotte because I don't have Cecil or anybody else.
You do realize you have the free lightning hazard. Unless you're saying you purposely miss
Charlotte's better. Charlotte's better. I like her better.
Don't
bias.
forget about Kimono Fina latents as well.
Oh, we did. That's right.
Fina
We'll
has to
look
be
into
present
those.
in every week.
How many Finas are we up to? It's 17, isn't it? Or is it 18 now?
It's around there.
It is. You do realize this is Fina Fantasy, right? So yes, we are supposed to have a lot of Finas.
I think the only Fina that we're missing is a Breaker Fina or a Tank
No,
Fina.
we're also missing Fina.
No, we do have a Tank Fina. We have Summer Fina and Daisy.
Well, Tank Fina upcoming.
No, wait, no.
Oh, now we have
Facey,
even a Tank
yes,
Fina.
Facey. We have Facey.
And
That's
honestly,
true.
they
We have
can be a breaker as well, and a support.
Oh, then we have everything.
We're
We
at
could-
13 in GL.
Oh yeah, technically Fit is a Breaker Fina. That's right.
I really did forget about that, actually. So let's talk about Shadowwalker's favorite unit, which is Vaan.
Yes.
I saw you got him.
yes.
Congratulations.
No,
Thank you,
before
thank
we
you.
start,
I
can
mean,
we all agree
wait.
that Sinza is an awfully... Sinza is the shitter, okay?
Oh,
Stole
I saw
everyone's
that.
luck this banner.
He is
was
the
something
shitter.
I swear.
It was like 8 rainbows in 14 tickets or something.
Like
It
I
was
really
feel
so
like
ridiculous.
Gumi's RNG is probably like universal. And like once if everyone's rainbow counts as a single tick in that RNG counter. So I feel like Sinsar just sapped everyone's luck this week. So
Oh, Tomatoes' first FF12 ticket gave him Vaan.
Go down
That's
with
like me last
Tomato!
week with
Down
Ren.
with... Go away,
I've had
Tomato!
like no rainbows from 30 tickets or a 25k.
Dream.
Well, I got
I feel so
one
bad.
non-guaranteed one on the 25k that was off banner.
Look,
So, as you guys know, I did not pull in this banner either. I didn't spend any lapis. I did throw a couple tickets at it and ended up getting a Penelo. And I got my 4th Axe Star and 2nd War Hero Reagan. So, not a bad haul for like 15 tickets total.
yeah, that's not
Nice.
bad. Except you didn't get Vaughn, who's probably like the best unit in the game right now.
Who
So,
cares, though? I don't like Vaan. I don't care about Vaan. I don't need Vaan.
I've been saying this all week, but I feel like Vaughn's probably like the single biggest shift for me in my team because he does so many things that I've taken 2 people off my team for Vaughn. It just feels weird. So, and that's only if you can get his STMR, I guess.
Do you really need his STMR, though? I mean, let's talk about this STMR. Okay, so
It's very important if you're doing dodge builds. Otherwise, it's not that big a deal.
it's basically...
Yeah.
basically
So-
So
if you are-
Hazard, you and I don't care about it, but
no, it's really
other
good for
people
dark
would.
visions, like for all those dodge provoked zombies.
I guess, but I mean, who's really struggling with this already? Like, who can't build evasion with the chance of being targeted? Like, we've got so much stuff now to do it. I feel like, I mean, we have to do it for DV. You have to.
Everyone we do the wiki ratings for, of course.
Oh, yeah, the people that don't actually exist, you mean?
I feel like with Vaughn, it's one of those what we predominantly call not like I like to call it a whale toy, but it's not really a whale toy. It's just if you can. The thing about Vaughn is that if you can give him provoke, evade, and true dual wield, like he can do like not despicable, like respectable amount of damage that he could be a breaker finisher and your provoke tank. So that sort of like flexibility is I think why I enjoy it so much. One of the things that I really like about his LB is that it's obviously 85% breaks, but it's also 130% imperils. But they all apply before his damage does, which is like fantastic.
Which is what they should have done from the very beginning of the game. It's silly that they don't do that.
Yeah. And I'm glad, like, Gumi has just on other units, like, fixed a fair few over time. Like, they don't get all of them, but they do get more than Alum do for making that the case.
If we want to talk about Vaughn's kit itself, I mean, it is pretty ridiculous. We can talk about breaker power creep in that it's been pretty slow over the years. It's fairly slow, like a lot of even early 7-star breakers like Nightolita are still pretty viable, and you can still use them for a lot of content. I mean, 74% breaks are still not terrible. But Vaan, I think Vaughn's major skill that's going to be useful for Behemoth, and you guys have talked about this already, is that he can triple cast a break on the same turn, which can help you avoid break resist stupidity and mechanics.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, multicasting the break itself is, only really for the break resistance, which is just Behemoth still, I think. But when you're not using that, triple cast lets you full break plus mirage plus active provoke if you need to in one turn, or imperil.
And even aside from having triple cast, he has good action economy compared to like Riku, because his Mirage will auto cast for several turns. So you cast it once, and then you get 4 turns of Mirage.
I do find it pretty funny that they let you triple cast every single skill, but that Ariel Ray chain is just way too powerful. They're just not going to let you do it.
It's a lore chain, like it's a flavor ability.
The thing about Vaan is that, and yeah, Luminescence was basically his limit break in the game. But the thing about Vaan is he's kind of like the Cecil of breakers at this point. Like, he's so good at what he does in terms of different things, but we never said Cecil is a requirement. Like, Sacred Shield Starless didn't suddenly become bad because, Cecil came out. This doesn't make Riku or Vanille, or not Vanille, sorry. Was it Vanille?
Yeah,
or even
Vanille or Lid, I'm not sure which one you mean.
Avatar.
Oh, yeah. Avatar Lid, all these, it doesn't make them bad. It's just he's another element in that he has so many other things. Like, one of the things that Hazard just mentioned was that Breaker Power Creep has been slow, in that breakers usually just break and they maybe do some other things. While tank Power Creep has been incredibly fast, right? Tanks have been doing all these other things recently.
Another thing I want to mention is that he's actually okay in Dark Visions. Even aside from the breaks, his LB, the damage isn't amazing, and his attack is kind of subpar, but he can still deal okay damage, and getting that and 85% breaks and 130% imperil for a couple of elements is great. So you can use him in that way too. And because there's a relatively long delay between activating his LB and it dealing damage, you can hold it. You can activate it to send him, and the break will still be ready for when your chainers are sent, if that makes sense.
Yeah, it's got nice timing for the skill.
Mm-hmm. And I mean, if you're dual wielding, it doesn't matter if you only single cast AR. Dual cast, there'll be dual casting because dual wielding, but that's still 60 hits or 120 hits from 2 AR chains. So
yeah.
I guess it just means you can't, AR plus break or something.
One thing to note, which is actually kind of rare, is that his AR move is single target. Usually they're AoE.
I mean, AR casts fast enough to, get at least...
I'm not saying that,
but yeah.
I don't think that's helpful in DV, or very relevant in DV at least. It's just, occasionally there are AoE stages. Keep in mind that he's not going to let you chain well through those.
Yeah, you can't chain for both targets on that.
The interesting thing is that we've got Morgana, who came out pretty recently, who breaks, or who chains while he breaks, which is pretty cool. The one thing that Vaan isn't doing, he just does one hit on these damage skills that he's doing, so he's not going to be chaining for you basically at all, unless you're using the Ariel Ray.
If you have off turns, his finishing damage is pretty decent too. Triple casting that red spiral.
Just remember, guys, that Sinzar was super disappointed when Vaan came out. Did not think he was going to be very good. Looking at this same kit, he said, "Nah, this sucks."
Are we burning Sinzar now?
Wow, it's just Riku.
Yeah.
It's
okay. Sinzar will never find out about this.
Yeah.
He's definitely not listening right now.
I just think it's funny that he's been hyping him for 9 months now, but the week he came out, he was so sad.
So there's another unit on the banner, and she's...
No, actually, there is one more thing I would like to add about Vaan.
Oh, okay. Well, fine. Go ahead.
Because I'm finally less distracted. Vaan is one of the easiest units for raid clearing, I guess, if you're going for that, because his limit break breaks first, then deals damage.
Yeah.
That's true, although I would note that we're getting... Raids nowadays have bonuses, so it can be more useful to just run units that are bonus units instead of a carry, but that depends on you actually having the bonus units.
Yeah, I was about to say that. Unless you pull during that month itself, you won't have enough bonus units to fuel one whole team.
The thing that bugs me about the bonus units this time, unless you got Vaan, but if you just have Fran, they're only or Penelo only have single target stuff. So if you get 3 enemy mobs, you're screwed. You just have to use someone else. It's really
Well, I
annoying.
mean, for Morgana at least, just because his AoE break does damage, so I've just been dual wielding that and it's killing everything.
Don't the dark vision weapons give you AoE moves?
Oh yeah, they do.
And they actually have decent modifiers.
I'm using Penelo to run it, and I don't have the rod. I have the sword, so it doesn't really help me.
Shame on you, Hazard. Shame on you.
Why would that be shame on me? Are you just saying stuff?
Just
Yes.
gear one of the other bonus units for like TDH. Just go for like TDH Zargabath or something.
I forgot what I was gonna say.
So you were talking about Penelo.
Anyways, do we want to talk about? Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah,
So she got
the
buffed.
other unit that exists.
Yeah, people hated Penelo when she came out. Well, not hated. It's just that compared to Vaan, she was clearly a troll unit. But in GL, she got nice little buffs that make her do a decent amount of damage. Where she, sadly, they could have made her better. I think her AR move is physical type, right? Yeah, physical attack.
The
with
modifier
magic
in it is not great. I don't think it's a very useful move.
Yeah. It's not. It's fluff.
If you want to use physical type moves for DV or whatever with her, you probably use her as a finisher with her full break move because that's 35.
And she can triple cast it instead of dual cast.
Does it land fast enough?
Well, honestly, I think she was designed kind of around DV because just of her imbue, and then she's got 3 different 130%. Resistance debuffs. So she's got dark, ice, and fire. Dark is still pretty rare as far as imbues go, especially for magic chainers. So that's pretty nice to have. And she gets triple cast off the bat, and it's single target Chaos Wave Awakened, which overcomes the thing that Censar hates the most.
I would dispute that she was designed for DV because imbuing herself with dark was not useful in JP, and she still had that over there because Zon doesn't exist there.
Yeah,
I mean, she's definitely
useful
for that in that respect for DV. Not like amazing, but not terrible.
Well, Alim just throws stuff at the wall, but Gumi actually goes, this could be actually useful. Let's keep that.
Sometimes.
Yeah, we'll get to that today. We'll get to that.
Yes, there are some things that very much do not stick to the wall today.
Yeah, it is weird. Someone mentioned in the live chat, Woods, that her dark skill has a 20% active provoke on it. Like what?
That's got to be like a reference to a mechanic from FF12, right?
Well, we should talk to the only person who's played FF12.
A resident expert.
I can't, for the life of me, understand why she has 20% chance to provoke. Maybe I didn't choose the right. The thing about FF12 is that the way the progress system works is that every unit can, like in Zodiac Age at least, they can choose a license, and once they choose that license, they go that route. There is no meta license that Penelo is. Like for this game, they said Penelo's a mage. My Penelo was always a white mage and a breaker. That's the combination that I used for her. So like I don't know why she has a provoke. Maybe
apparently a lot of people used her as like a ninja/red mage, and ninjas are like, I guess maybe they have high dodge or something.
Yeah, but that's dodge.
No, I think one of the things that it's.
Well, yeah, but
one of the things that
that's like
one of the things that I think it's referring to is that in Final Fantasy Zodiac Age, one of the most popular things is every unit has 2 jobs. So, for example, Vaan was my DPS and my healer, and he did both jobs perfectly. So in this game, I think when they released Vaan, they released him to be a finisher and a breaker and a dodge tank for some reason. And for Penelo, I guess they're trying to make her into a magic DPS and with provoke. I have no clue actually.
But they didn't do that with Fran.
Yeah, they didn't do that with Fran.
Penelo's probably more of magic DPS plus breaker for her roles because she's got that 70% full.
I'm guessing it's just that at this point, it seems to me like Elam was experimenting with ways to make mages relevant. They tried Bahamut Dark Fina with high damage, although I guess she actually came out later in JP, right?
No, Bahamut Dark Fina was before.
Oh, okay. So they tried her with high damage, and then they tried Penelo with some utility. And I think they realized that people didn't like Penelo, so they went back to high damage.
Well, do you guys think? Do you guys know if you can use mincing minuet, that finishing move / break, within Chaos Wave Awakened chains? Like, can you cast it first and then Chaos Wave Awakened, or vice versa, and get that to finish inside the chain?
No idea.
Maybe the chat will figure it out.
Yes, that's their homework for the listeners.
But
Work
you know,
out where the Penelo
she's
is
got
gonna
good
be.
damage. She does have 3 different elements with imbues, really nice imperils, the highest ones we've got in the game so far, and single target for DV. So overall, she's a pretty nice consolation prize if you don't get Vaan. I ended up picking up one of her, so I probably won't do anything with her after that. But
Yeah, looks like it would work.
she has a nice TMR for me because I don't have operative Zyrus, so it's nice to have a TDH material with magic on it. So, well, that got boring real quick. Let's move on to
her STMR is
Fran.
really impressive though.
Oh yeah, it actually is really really good. Plus 40 magic and 71 flat magic too. It's just a nice e-beam stat.
Tomato, you shouldn't be saying that. Penelo's like 17 or something.
Well, when did the game release? How old is she now?
Well, Tomato being inappropriate, surprise, surprise.
Moving on to the next unit, Fran, and that's all there is to say about Fran, so moving on to the next unit.
But in all seriousness, Fran
Reks.
has a really good Trust Mastery reward. And this is one of the rare cases where, for the free unit, it's better to feed the free unit regular Muggles and save those unit-specific Muggles for Muggle Prisms, because this killer is just so damn rare.
Yeah, there's almost no sources of Beast Killer materia in the game. There's like the actual Beast Killer materia, which I think you can only get one of. And then there's King of Beasts, which was from Marquis de Leon from the Dragon
Getting
Quest
really lucky
collab
on
a
those
very
raid
long
pulls.
time ago. Yeah, and then
Yeah, I didn't
there's
get
a
that.
few other sources that have like 20 or 30% or something.
Isn't there an STMR? I think there's some STMRs.
Yeah,
It's
there's a
pretty
couple
rare.
STMRs like Irvine and I think Flammy.
One is
Furion has bird killers. I
Bird
think.
Killer is a little bit more.
Yeah.
I mean, basically
Yeah, Bird Killer isn't that bad, but Beast Killer is awful.
every throwing weapon has Bird Killer on it.
I just wish there was a killer plus for every race.
So
one copy and that's it.
yeah, so if you care about DV, I would say keep at least one of the Muggles. I would probably keep like 2 or 3 of them. You're probably not going to prism all of them, but it's just one slot. May as well save them in case prisms ever become really
I
common.
might just keep all the 5% ones.
I was gonna say you could just sell a unit, but it's a different category. So don't sell your units for this. Only Bharos would do that anyway. Shout out Bharos. We miss you,
God.
bud.
Use parts
Why do
or
you
something.
remind me of these things?
we have to keep him here in spirit.
Anyways,
tormenting
Fran
us.
is an utterly forgettable damage dealer. She's fine for new players. Nobody else is going to use her.
It does like very slightly more than the past 2 free damage dealers. Bit over 20.
Yeah. Yeah.
Has
okay.
3 elements, but ice is slightly better because of her limit burst and peril.
I guess her STMR
Yada,
is also
yada.
worth mentioning. It's, I think, the strongest bow we've seen yet, and it has Beast and Bird Killer on it. So that could actually be useful for like Phoenix Jake or something against DV bosses of that type.
Yeah, or equip Aurora Fravia with bow.
But for hybrids though, you just use Artemis bow.
I'm just let me make my joke.
Well, in
But
DV,
actually-
you might not do that, just because you would only care about one stat.
Right.
She does have one incredibly important trait that we've forgotten though. She can do she can do AoE potions to the team.
Oh boy.
Can't Ilias already
Can't
do
forget
that? Like,
Yeah, like
They're even
4 years ago.
300% potency.
I mean, Ilias can already do that, man.
It's meta.
What's wrong with her
So, how
stealing
much
the
does
role
an
from a
X potion
4-star
do?
unit? Like, is she really
I
that
think it's like
desperate?
1,000.
How much is, let's see, X potion? I think it is 1,500 if I remember right. But...
It's 1,000.
So it does a whopping
So she can
3,000.
do like
And I
a
think
Kuraka.
how many can you even bring to a fight? Is it like 5?
5, I think. Yeah. She's got you. If your fight lasts that long anyway, you just suck at the game. So.
Nice,
So
nice.
Just imagine you can heal for 15,000 HP, split across 2 turns, once per battle.
3,000.
I mean, you don't see that level of power every day.
Wait. Across 2 turns?
Because
across 2 turns?
You can't use all 5
she
in
can
one
triple
turn.
cast it. I thought she could only single cast it.
Yeah, she can't triple cast it, so it's not... Like, 9,000 healing from a damage dealer is technically not entirely useless, but it's not good.
I mean, I was joking, but...
Speaking of, you also can't triple cast her luminescence either.
So do we just move on to the enhanced units then?
Let's do
that
latents, because there's only one of them, and then we can do enhancements.
Units, I just thought we'd talk about them longer.
Yeah. I mean, we probably would have talked about Fran for longer if Bharos was here.
I mean, true. I fitted one but reference, so that's good.
I mean, Shadow, if Bharos isn't here, you have to do his job, okay? Come on.
No. It's your turn. It's your turn. You can do it, Cotton.
Reks. We can talk about the other banner unit, which is Reks. It's
No.
Keep our president of skipping force.
No, actually, I have a question.
They're not worth
I do have
it.
a question. Who the hell is Reks?
He's Vaan's older
from the
brother.
tutorial.
Yeah, he's Vaan's older brother that gets the dead on him real quick. He's basically as important as Wrestler.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
Well,
that makes 2.
Okay, well,
what's with FF12 for having just completely irrelevant characters?
I think.
Well, okay.
I will say, I think
Okay.
Reks might be the very first non-rainbow unit with AR frames.
But, like, who doesn't have rainbows these days?
Yeah, I mean, I'm not saying that's useful. It's just a fun bit of trivia.
I mean, it's continuing the tradition of Final Fantasy 12 units to break the game. First, we have Ashe. Now we have Reks with the
Ashe?
first 4-star unit who breaks the game. Ashe, whoever.
Ashe? Okay.
Cotton, have you ever played 12?
I have.
Have you ever seen 12 discussed? Or this is like Sinzar level pronunciation.
I fall back on the whole English.
Why you gonna murder the man like that? Oh man. But yes, Reks and Wrestler are technically important, but I won't get into this because it's a quagmire. And I mean, they're very important to the story that tells about Vaan and Ash. They're a very big point to their character development.
Shadow.
So I get.
I know who I remember who Wrestler is. I don't even remember who the hell Reks is.
Reks is the first character you meet in the game. You play him during the tutorial.
You play as him.
That shows you how unmemorable he is.
Or does it just show you how bad Final Fantasy 12 is?
Take that back, Muspel.
Or how bad Cotton's memory is.
Hold on. The best part of Final Fantasy 12 is that it takes place in Evilus, right? And you get to learn a little bit more about these Zodiac Braves and also the demons and angels behind them, which is actually really interesting lore. If you guys are
Anyways, before Hazard makes us talk about Final Fantasy Tactics for an hour, Kimono Fina got latents.
That was all I had to say.
Hazard, you get to talk about Final Fantasy Tactics for an hour only if the game releases a new Final Fantasy Tactics 5-star base, okay?
No, not even then.
You know that's basically never, Muspel.
If I don't get 10 minutes to talk about FF12, Hazard won't get anything when another Tactics needs release.
There won't be another Tactics banner. It's already been confirmed. It's over.
Wait, did they confirm it?
Tactics has the high ground.
Yeah, you may get Gabranth one day, but I'll never get CG Ramza. Release him, you cowards.
Hazard, you're assuming that we won't get a GLEX and be Zagabath instead of Gabranth.
We'll see.
So, since it's already 9:40 and we still have like 5 units to go, Kimono Fina got some mod boosts and a little bit of extra stats, and that's it.
Yay.
Hooray.
Her active is pretty worthless. But her damage afterwards is like not bad, and the back-to-back burst is still like has gone back to being like pretty damn impressive. But unfortunately, because enhancements can't fix or can't change frames.
Latents, you mean?
Latents can't change frames on existing moves, so she's still stuck with Chaos Wave, which is pretty dead at this point. So she's like dupe only, which is obviously bad for DV.
Also, if you don't have her STMR, it's kind of problematic because she uses her own TM, which is a bow, to get triple cast, and that means that she can't use any of the rods that have killers, or she can't use Artemis bow, and it just amplifies the normal mage problems of not getting enough killers.
I can't disagree with any of this, but I just have 12 Kimono Finas, and I need to use hers at one point.
Oh
So
my gosh.
Yeah, I think I'm up to 7.
I think I've got 2, maybe 3. I think I actually have 3. I have 3, so I'm not gonna do anything with her. Let's talk about someone way more interesting, which is Sacred Shield Charlotte. She's bae. She's my waifu.
Wait, did I just hear Hazard say waifu? What? Who are you and what have you done with Hazard?
There are only 2 waifus in the world. It's Agrius and Charlotte. Thank you.
Who are you and
That's
what
it.
have you done with Hazard?
Listen, am I the only one with the waifu? No, I have. Shadow's also married.
No,
So,
yeah, but like your
We're the only 2
Hazard, you
people
don't
that get to
say
talk about
As is
waifus.
Bharos.
your Hazard. You don't say stuff like that usually.
no, but Charlotte, I get Charlotte. Everyone understands.
I think he's possessed by the spirit of Bharos.
Oh no. Bharos, no.
All right. Well, you guys are arguing over that. Let's talk about Charlotte.
Charlotte's enhancements were great.
Yeah, she gets 40% magic mitigation on demand to all your allies and 100% defense and spirit. Pretty nice. She gets some more LB gauge fill. She gets more resistances to ailments and charm, and she gets more stats.
She gets more cover mitigation.
Her damage mitigation. Yes, that's the best part.
The highlight of Charlotte's enhancements, I think, or at least for newer players, is going to be the fact that she has dual cast now. Because this means that she can dual cast Recover and her Provoke. And if you don't have Moogle Charm or some of the other draw gear, that's a big deal.
Because otherwise you're forced, and I'm saying forced. You have no other choice. You have to use 2 tanks, according to Muspel.
I mean, if you don't want to get flattened by random hits that deal like 100,000 damage on turn 1.
Which don't exist. We've had this discussion a million times, but it is nice. It's nice. But let's talk about the LB, because the LB is still one of the best in the game. It casts your cover, which now has 70 to 80% mitigations for 4 turns, and still has your 50% mitigation to all allies, and still only costs 22 LB crystals. Pretty nice. Very exciting.
Her enhancements don't quite, like in terms of raw survivability, she's still not quite a magic version of Hallowed Age's Charlotte, but she's close.
I don't recognize the other Charlotte, so. But for those of you who don't have Cecil, she's a pretty darn good consolation prize, and she's a lot cuter than Cecil, which is more important.
I just have one thing to say.
Hair is not as good though.
Where was this enhancement guy when they were doing? Charles.
Who?
Maybe enhancement guy is allergic to dogs.
He's more of a cat person.
That's right. Let's move on to another really boring unit, Elena.
Elena basically gained some damage, and she can now maintain mitigation, and it's now 40%. So if you don't have a good tank, that can be great. Otherwise, it's probably redundant on a lot of teams. The damage is good. She's pretty bulky. Solid damage dealer overall. Not top tier, though.
She probably has the most complicated wiki page of any unit in the game.
Morgana.
Like you have no idea how it works just by looking at it. Like you'd have to create a flow chart for each of her moves. But I know Nexus is excited. She does, however, I think her biggest draw is that she basically has 1,000 defense and spirit without trying, and really good HP. So she might be able to be a good DPS for some fights where you'd want evasion, like Behemoth, for example. She might be a decent.
Yeah, but with the
I'm not
damage,
sure that she'll be bulky enough for that. Like even in JP, they had to use like Untamed Wolf Adele with her 75% mitigation just to not die. I don't think Elena will get anywhere near.
and I wonder if her damage is actually enough to hit the behemoths. Clear
Probably.
count?
It's probably close because like it's around the same level as Cypher, who was used, or Safer, and so yeah, it might be all right. And bulk wise, I think I remember some conversations with Sinzar. It seemed like if you wanted to go the bulk route after like all the mitigations and buffs were accounted for, you needed like around 100 million effective HP.
Oof.
So she might be able to reach that reasonably well.
Her wiki page looks horrible, but I think her rotation is actually rather
Yeah,
simple.
it's cleaned up a bit.
And that's what I appreciate from this enhancement patch, at least. A lot of the rotations have, like, we're going to go into Soul later, but these rotations have become a bit more clean and, I guess, easy to access.
Does that include Morgana's rotation?
Actually, yes. Her rotation is now very simple to do. The problem is that it's very difficult to figure out in the first place. So it really sucked for me trying to calculate her damage, but now that I know how to do that, she basically just uses the same skills over and over again.
Well, okay, are we done talking about Elena? Are we talking about Soul now?
Sure.
But I do want to give a shout out to Gumi for having the worst idea, which is putting increased modifiers on like several different moves, and some of them stack and some of them don't. Like, just stop. Just stop doing that. Just make the move powerful or not powerful, and be done with it.
Gumi, no.
Yeah, bad Gumi.
Bad
Stop
Gumi.
doing that.
Bad.
You're hurting Dream, and he's my friend.
Aww.
Aw. Wait, are you hurting Dream or Muspel more?
Who do I what?
He's hurting.
I mean,
Probably me. I calc everyone except Morgana.
As soon as Slime confirmed that this whole stacking thing wasn't resolved, it was easy from then on.
All right, let's move on to Soul.
Yeah. Soul's possibly the least interesting of this batch, but he is effective. Just kind of spams Chaos Wave Awakened of one of 3 elements and has Quadcast and Big Magic buff and really good innate equipment magic now as well. I think he has 200% True Dual Wield with no gear.
What?
Which is kind of just awesome.
I think it's just 150.
200%.
Oh, yeah, sorry, you're right. 200.
Wait.
Yeah.
Okay, 100% in your righteous teachings, and then where else? Good luck.
He already had 100%, and then he added 100% more from enhancements. So
Oh yeah, there it is. Okay.
Yeah, so he just caps it automatically.
Wow, that's like your boy Xeno.
Yeah, kind of. I mean, it's still not as good as a physical unit just because you don't have good killer access, but it solves some of the problems. His damage still isn't great to start with. It's fine on paper, not top tier, and then he falls behind. So
average wise, it's probably about the level of like 4 wins for Salus, but more stable, but doesn't have that big burst option. So it's sort of pros and cons.
He also has very little innate HP. I think he only has 40%. No, I guess he gained some with the enhancements, so he goes up to 90. Yeah, that's fine, I guess.
AoE.
Yeah, that too.
Well, yeah, but I mean, when we're talking about mages, I rarely bring a mage to a mage stage in DV. Like, that's my reality. So, like, when I look at a like mage like Soul or Operative Zyrus, I don't ever think about bringing them to DV. So
yeah, I think the problem is just that mages are worse than physical on normal stages, and then they're worse than the physical mages on the mage stages. So they just never get a chance to shine.
Sadly.
Yeah.
On the later magic stages, when they're like actually tanky enough for several casts to go off, they're not bad.
Yeah, but even then, the problem is matching elements and getting killers.
Yeah, they need the right element and stuff as well. So it's niche, but like they're not always bad.
Most of these magic, like magic DPS units, have to stack their Chaos Wave Awakening chain, which, I mean, I guess it's not an issue if you just off-chain it, but sometimes you can kill the thing before it even gets to max stack.
So I want to bring up a topic that I don't want to bring up, but is DV. I just want to touch on it briefly, which is what did you like about this format change, and what did you not like about the format change?
Can we talk about Morgana before we move on to another topic?
Who is
No,
that?
I don't even know what
No,
we already
Morgana
talked
is.
about
talk
her.
about
Who's that?
Morgana.
What is Morgana?
So
I
Morgana
don't. You,
is Goomy
We already
giving
talked
up
about
on
her.
evokers.
No, we literally already talked about her.
Because
Before you, so
her
Muspel, I have one
evocation build
question.
is just yeah.
How fun was it
Muspel, we already talked
calculating
about.
Morgana's damage? Do you enjoy it as much as the first time?
Calculating it was not that bad. Figuring out the rotation was a pain in the ass because she has too many different moves. Anyways, this is Goomy giving up on evokers because she has two possible builds. She can either be built as an evoker, or she can be built as a regular mage. And the regular mage build does about as much damage as the evocation build, but then it also benefits from killers after that. So it's just way better in every possible situation.
All right, so let's wait until next DV when Sinzar gets the top score using Morgana as a finisher, and says "suck it, Muspel" on his video live.
yes, please do.
Do it. Oh well.
All right, we good with Morgana? Let's talk about DV. Things I liked about it.
Briefly.
10 battles is better than 15. Congratulations.
Yes. Less stages.
Bad?
And being able to use any damage on the last two stages was nice as well. Well, most.
Yeah, any
based on
damage,
elements.
but they still kind of kept it even because the bosses still had slightly lower spirit, so the mages were competitive. Well, the physical
Yeah.
mages were competitive.
Yes. 2 fights per day release, that sucked.
Well, I feel like that sort of like ability to choose what we want to do created an environment where I could do a mag DPS and a physical DPS chaining because I didn't have the gear, or I did, but I didn't have 2 units that were good physical chainers that or good mag chainers. So I brought Ace and Rico Rodriguez, and those were the 2 that chained in the last stage for me, which worked.
Here's what they should do, though. They should release 3 stages a day for 3 days, 9 total, so you're done by Saturday. None of this release on Monday stuff, because Bahamut was an absolute nightmare if you were trying him on the last day, like I was and I know Dream was. And my War of the Visions crew came through and I was able to beat it, but holy crap, that guy can dish out the deeps. So that's all I had to say about that one.
Giving us the elemental flexibility on bosses and putting the bosses of the same element in a row was a great move. It made it a lot less annoying.
I think it should get even better with the next one because I think they make both pairs have the same race as well.
Oh, good.
For the next
Oh,
one.
really?
Interesting.
So you can basically gear one team for 2 fights.
Nice.
That's interesting. I'm concerned because that'll mean that not having the perfect setup for one fight will put you further behind, since you're basically just doing the same thing twice in a row.
Yeah, that's
I guess
true. I mean, your defensive stuff will change a bit as well.
if the
between
boss
them.
mechanics are distinct enough, I guess, but it feels like they're usually the same to me.
I find like with the change in DV,
We'll
gearing
see.
for elements is a lot more annoying because they actually use 2 different elements each fight now.
Yeah, gearing for elemental resist is also like it's a minor annoyance that I wish we didn't have to go through, but oh well.
I mean, I think for this one, just by like slotting tanks, I avoided having to gear everyone for element resist on all of the fights except for fire for Dark Bahamut.
I just used Kinshira for that. Because
Kinshira.
Yeah, she
She has
buffs 4 resist by 100%, and she has AR frames.
Yeah, but if you like, how many turns did you take on that?
3.
Because yeah, I couldn't kill it that fast, so I had to have buffs with actual like full uptime.
Yeah, I got him down to like 60% on turn 2, and then I killed him on turn 3.
Yeah, I guess the thing with Bahamut
Nice.
is that it's really definitely start showing the difference between like people running old damage dealers and people running all the new fancy stuff, I guess.
Yeah.
Sky Razor eat pan.
Yeah, the thing about Dark Bahamut, and I say this now, it's like I had so much trouble with the last stage. I had enough killers, I had the gear, I just couldn't find 2 units that actually chained together. Like all of my latest DPS, like Rico is a BS chainer, Squall is an LB chainer, Cloud is an LB finisher. Like they didn't match together, so I had that sort of issue. instead of consistent DPS.
Your DV sucks. All right, let's move on. And without further ado, I think we are ready for the Q&A session with our listeners.
How the heck did we go through so many units so fast today?
Try.
Well, there's a lot of boring stuff.
Because we don't have Bharos.
That's true. Bharos isn't trying to distract us with penis jokes every 5 seconds.
Fewer random sidetracks.
Yep.
All right, first question. Does Cotton actually eat pant? Yes. Next question. What free unit? What free unit do we get?
We already talked about
Am I
Fran,
missing something?
just not for very long.
I think he's talking about other stuff, not the stuff we covered. The Bharos stuff.
Red Ash asks, can I add Muspel and Hazard in game?
Yeah, I told you I would. I have
No.
not gotten around to it. I will this weekend for sure.
I never check my friend invites. Ever.
Gosh, Muspel. Being friends with people.
How hard is it to be a friend?
How many inactive friends on your list? Asked by Tomato. Well, that's a good question. I actually have a few that I can't come to delete because either I've met them at FanFesta, I've had them for so long, I don't want to see the number go down, or they're just people that used to be so active in the community. Like, for example, Jimmy. Like, Jimmy quit the game. Jamori quit the game, but I still have him on my friends list. Or Garpo. Garpo used to be a lot more active than he used to be, but I like the guy. I love and I want him back, but I don't want to delete him. And Majin. Oh my god, Majin, please.
I think I deleted Majin again. Oops.
I had Defiant Hermit for basically up until like a week or two ago.
I think I still have him on my list.
I finally realized he wasn't coming back.
I still have my brother on my list, and he's running Onion Knight from when Onion Knight first came out.
Oh, is he running him as a mage?
Wow.
Because that would be really on point.
He had just started playing the game. I made a reroll macro and ran it until I got him an account with Onion Knight.
So Reynold asks, what are the chances of getting Defiant Hermit on the show? Cotton, what do you think?
I did ask Hermit, but I think he's a bit busy now, so...
We wanted to get him for the retrospective episode when we were talking about the good old days, but he was not available.
No, but you know who we should have on the show? Natsa. You want to know how to get Natsa on the show? Each one, we just need to slowly wear him down, every single one of us. It's a group effort.
Everybody in this podcast needs to add Natsa in the FFBE server.
No, they'll get banned.
You're gonna get us banned.
No, it will ban us.
Also, I'll admit I didn't realize it for a while either, but you realize it is Nazta.
What?
Oh, with a T?
Yeah, it's ZTA.
Yeah, it's ZTA.
Not TZA.
Okay then.
I saw another question that we passed by. Tomato asks, why have I never been asked on the show? I think we've invited you many times, but you just refused.
Somebody asked a question about the free unit and prism things and who we're going to pick, which I think is a topic that we probably should talk about in general.
Yeah, good point.
So it seems like it's a lot of the more recent, like it's the CG protagonists, it's the Esper units. Who else?
Basically, versions of the main cast.
Oh yeah, I guess that's a good way of looking at it. I hadn't really figured out the connecting thread there.
Yeah.
For me, there's nobody on there that's an upgrade in terms of roster, so I'm mostly looking at it for STMRs or really niche stuff. I'm thinking I might pick Infernal Rain just because his STMR is one of the few sources of Beast Killer. I already have 1 copy, so that would get me to 3, and then I just have to pull 1 more somehow, someday.
Another good STMR is Delta Sakura.
Oh yeah,
her
I'm actually
STMR
considering
is
that.
high mag and LB damage, which is rare. Like, there aren't a lot of LB damage mags, materias, or equipment in the game.
That's true, but there also aren't many mages that use their LBs for damage. There's Ellie and Ace, and that's about it.
I mean, even
Yeah,
if you
I
can't
mean,
use the LB damage, it's still a very high match rod with 50% magic for free. Like, that gives so much more slots for killers and other stuff.
yeah, it's a great STMR.
Yeah, it's a bit like Xeno
Mhm.
STMR.
Yeah, I just find that I would tend to use the DV rod and probably Quist's STMR.
Yeah. But no, I'm potentially looking at just like a first copy of Delta Sakura for like, stealing her killers. Or the other one I'm looking at is actually her banner partner, potentially a prism for Epsilon Nicole, getting him to 7-star. Because he just has a pretty nice support kit still, and that's not going to change for a while. But it's sort of like, I don't really know when I'd use him, but it's like, I wouldn't mind having him.
The problem I have with Epsilon Nicole is that he just feels like a much worse version of Hallowed Aegis Charlotte. Because her type mitigation is only slightly
Wait.
worse.
But one of them's a tank and the other one's a support.
Right, but she has like his entire support kit.
And I don't have Hallowed Aegis.
She doesn't have the killers idea. Wait, doesn't he have killers?
Not much.
He has an AoE imbue and
Imperil.
200% buffs and 50% gen.
I guess I don't really see that stuff as being very useful, because with Zon you can copy all those things. You don't need them AoE.
I've seen people
I mean, for DV, sure.
I've seen people consider War Hero Roggen. I mean, it's not a bad idea.
Yeah, I might actually go for War Hero Dragon myself.
Yeah, I'm thinking of a second copy of him as well.
You're back to pronouncing Roggen. See?
And I don't have a single copy of Roggen either, but like, unless you're going for STMR, here's my opinion. It's like, I feel like we know that Envy is an impending doom. And with an Envy becoming an impending doom, how many of us would actually keep using, Whale Roggen?
With this DV, I was already at the point where I wasn't really using him that much.
For me, I would like to actually have a unit who I can steal Dragon Killer, who isn't a completely dead slot like Duke. Like,
right, but I've
yeah, because you can also get Fire or Ice Imbue and Imperial from
For
it.
that, you might want to consider Mystical Ice
Laswell.
Dead Killer.
Yeah, you might want to consider Laswell more, because Laswell also has the elemental resist, which I think Sins are like really showcased this time around. And the other thing about Laswell is that if you have Chairlass's STMR, his damage actually spikes quite decently enough to consider using, at least for me. So I've been looking at, using Mystical Ice Laswell or getting an STMR for Delta Sac. I'm still split which to get.
One thing that I'm not super thrilled about with Odin Reagan is that his TM is just bad. His STMR is fine. It's not.
Yeah.
It does. Like, I used an STMR Moogle on it. I don't think it was worth it. I was kind of caught up in the hype, but it hasn't been that great.
Managed to convince Bharos to do the same, at least.
I want that on your tombstone, Muspel. Caught up in the hype.
Haven't we established that Muspel is the meta slave?
I mean, I did pull for Phoenix Jake, so yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a bit
Wait,
sad.
really?
That's how I got a high score in DV.
I did not realize that.
What was your score in DV?
Muspel does not have principles, okay?
It's shitting on him so much.
What was your rank?
I'm at like 530. I
That's
didn't quite manage to crack top 500.
Yeah.
I didn't really
All
have
that
the time
work
to really bear down on Bahamut and figure out what people were doing for that.
Yeah, I know, right?
He is very good for DV.
He's strong.
Because I like how he has the imbue, the break, 120% imperils, and very high burst.
Well, I guess
anyway, I think
that's everything. Oh no, we have a few more questions that we missed, I think.
Yeah, that's it for the unit and prison talk. Now we can go back to our questions.
Yeah, and I just scroll up because the chat has been moving. There was one by Lemur Ninja that says which. I think that's the first one that we missed. I think. Which character falling out of favor affected you the most? I couldn't get a new chainer for a long while, and my Orlando and Dark Veritas were my only things keeping me afloat. And we know Cotton's answer.
Kind of the opposite of falling out of favor, but back in the day when TDH came out, it made my life a pain in the ass because everybody started running fixed dice Titus. And the worst thing is that it's really hard to tell the difference without looking at the equipment screen between a very well geared TDH Titus and a badly geared dual wield Titus, because they have about the same attack. So you have to really pay attention to which friend is which, and
Are you
fixed
sure?
dice
I thought
Titus
fixed
is
dice
terrible.
Titus was the one that everyone was going for.
That was the problem, I think.
Yes, the problem was that people were paying attention to the average damage and not
The low or the
It's
highs.
just how good the unit
Wildly
actually was.
unpredictable.
But the big PP burst, like who wouldn't want that?
I spent 8 turns on phase 1 of Elnath with fixed dice Titus,
Ouch.
attacking every single turn. It was the worst thing that ever happened to me, and then I swore I would never use fixed dice ever
I
again.
was about to ask you why you were using fixed dice in the first place when you hate it so much.
Yeah, that was the first time I ever tried it, and also the last time.
The tipping point.
Some people just didn't have enough gotcha in their gotcha game, so they decided to use like gotcha damage,
Yeah.
as Tomato says.
Gotta pull for a high roll.
I'm very, very glad that they came up with the new damage formula, because it means that we don't have to argue about fixed dice
So
anymore.
nice.
Because that always came up whenever we got somebody like Aang,
Didn't that happen
Cupid, or
because
Arcadios
Yuffie
or
was
whatever.
supposedly like overpowered in JP and they immediately nerfed it?
She would have been really strong with fixed dice at the time. Like, I think.
Well, strong on paper, but
Yeah.
yeah.
So we got the fixed dice nerf before Yuffie, I think.
Yuffie. Not Yuffie.
Yeah.
Yuffie.
I think
Yuffie.
it basically I think Ilum felt like they couldn't release any unit that used throwing weapons, because they did it with Randy and he was too strong, and then they just didn't do it for anyone else until you.
Come to think of it, we still don't have equipped throwing weapons at all.
There
They fear
Yeah.
its power.
Hazard and
Okay, speaking of Yuffie and throwing weapons, just comment, like, I got her STMR not that long ago, just from random copies, and I was very disappointed to find out that it didn't even have 1.5 average. I was so sure for so long that it would have, because it's like the only two-handed throwing. And I was
Wait,
like,
it doesn't?
no, it's 1.3.
Yikes.
What
Same
the
with
shit?
Same with Yigo's STMR. I had a similar reaction around that.
I knew about Yegos because I have that one, but I had always assumed,
what?
I guess like you, I assumed that
Yeah.
Yuffie's was 150%.
What?
But
Well,
no.
at least it's got a great rare in Item World to make up for that.
With the MP, yeah, love it.
Oh god.
Look, at least other unit, anyone can use Yego's STMR with AIKT's STMR. Like
No one
For-
used it. Oh,
for Yuffie's one, no one can use it unless they can innately use throwing weapons.
also
And
please
how not many units can use throwing weapons?
stop
there.
using KIK's STMR on bonus unit for MK stages. Stop doing it.
Never.
Oh, that reminds me, I forgot to equip. upgrade
Yeah,
packages
Dream.
for
Why
my
is
bonus
Dream
unit.
using that on
Hey,
his
Red Ash, you
case?
can have
You know how long I have to wait every
you
single
can have
time I pick him?
Muspel's friend slot. I'm gonna delete him.
It's like, hey, my ace is set up for EP, not your bonus unit
Also,
running.
can we just discuss? I know only like me and Muspel care about Arena, but no double and triple cast Arena week is the worst Arena week ever. Every once in a while, they
Yes.
combine
You know
it
what's-
with no wind damage as well, and so I can't even use my tornado chainers. It's
Get
the
wrecked.
worst.
You know,
Just Quake Chain.
You use tornado chainers? Why?
What else did I
because
use?
everything else is banned.
Because I can triple cast.
You use
Yeah.
AR. You use
You.
physical TDH AR chainers.
You.
No, you only cast
You.
it once.
Yeah.
Your damage is capped.
But you can't dual cast tornado either.
Yes, you
obviously.
Yeah,
can,
you can.
with actual dual and triple
Dual
black
cast.
magic. So Medina and New Rem can both do it.
That's not. How? Why is that not banned?
All this arena talk is grossing me out.
No, you know what's gonna be even worse? When Phasey comes out.
Who?
I don't know what Facey does.
Preemptive cover.
Oh.
What?
Yeah, she has a one-turn preemptive cover.
Is it physical
Magic.
or magic?
Magic.
Oh, I don't care about that. I always use physical.
Ugh. Yeah, time to quit. Tell me when that chick's coming out and I'm
It's
out.
like, get fucked, shit.
I mean, just wait until Alim releases a physical version of her.
I feel like a passive AoE cover was like always gonna happen, and when it happened, that's when we get bullshit type of bosses. That's the only way they would be able to like compensate that sort of like power creep. Like it has to be Not fixed.
Oh yeah, because we haven't gotten bullshit bosses
Yeah,
before. I mean, I'm looking at you, Glacial and Behemoth.
Oh my god,
And
fuck Glacial.
I mean, Glacier was okay when we could do
No,
the old
fuck Scorn of Glacial.
the original Glacier when we
out.
could just keep spamming, just keep force
The
closing and
re-raise?
reopening the app to reroll the RNG.
You could reset to make it hit different people.
Yeah, those
I
were the
remember doing that.
days.
But Scorn of Icebird made me so angry.
Scorn of Icebird is probably like the best, not the best, but like the biggest gear check in the game. Like it just checks, do you have these gears to survive the preemptive? Yes, you win. No, you die. It's so stupid.
Not their worst design, I'm sure.
Is it really though? Is it really not their worst?
I mean, isn't like the
Have you paid
marble?
attention to
I'm trying to
DV?
think of
There's
what could
plenty
be
of bad
worse.
things.
Yeah, the
DV.
new marble is also a pretty big gear check.
No, the
Hey,
marbles
can you chain 100
are
for no reason?
fine.
Can you chain 100? Yes?
That's actually original Marlboro when it came out may have been worse designed because it was borderline impossible.
I liked that about it, though.
Like,
that was
yeah,
the
but I
best
like
part
that
about
about
it.
I'd say the bad design is more like having a Vade on Gooligan.
I warmed up to it after a few months once it became more doable. I think that on release it was if they intended it to be doable on release, they
Yeah, you
failed
can
utterly.
basically only do it with A2 with pods.
If they intended it to be something that people would stare at for months and then eventually tackle.
So it wasn't necessarily bad, it was early.
It was a lot easier once
Yeah.
we had magic cover
If
tanks.
they'd waited another month, we would have
I
had
mean-
Onion Knight and Enhanced Transterra to handle it pretty easily.
Mistina.
There's a question, what do we think about the new Extreme Scorn trials in JP? I haven't really looked at them. I know almost nothing about their mechanics.
I
And by
mean-
almost nothing, I mean absolutely nothing.
Yeah. I've seen a bit about them, and I would say I am kind of sad that it's the same bosses again instead of new designs, because
New designs.
a lot of the new boss sprites
They haven't done a new
a lot
design
of the
in
new
3
boss
years.
sprites especially look really nice. But
They have done a couple. There's the, I don't know how you pronounce it, Coral?
I mean,
And
Yeah,
the Tonberry trial.
Master Co, Cholberry. I mean, we've had ones like the Chocobo Battalion as well and stuff in GL. They're
have
all
you
been new.
have you seen the
Behemoth.
newest story? Like they're practically reusing all the boss sprites. We haven't got any new enemy sprites, even like with colors.
Do people really care about boss design? Like I really don't.
It's just nice to see something new instead of
I think
Terra
it's
Rat
nice.
reskinned.
Aren't you the one who really loved the 10-man boss designs and wants them to be made into units?
No, that's me.
I like the 10-mans because I like the
And-
10-man mechanics.
The design of those was amazing.
So you don't care about the design, but you also love the units that are well designed.
No, the design of the fights, not the
No,
the
but they
art.
also had very interesting boss sprites.
The art was great. I'm just saying, if they redid the art, it wouldn't be as nice. They could make the art a little bit different. Like they could do, not just new colors, but like redraw them in different phases. That'd be fine.
It would be pretty funny to watch us kill Gilgamesh for a third time or something.
Yes, please.
It'll
I
happen.
mean, haven't we done that
We'll
already?
Get Extreme
Didn't
Gilgamesh
we have the
before
MK
long.
boss Gilgamesh that we killed?
Yeah, I guess if you count events, we have actually had him more times than 2. Because there was Big Bridge
Yeah.
and stuff.
Yeah.
Can I just say that Gilgamesh is one of the worst beloved characters in Final Fantasy?
I actually think, like, of all like the existing characters in every game, Tomberries are probably the worst. Like, I don't get the hype around Tomberries, so like I don't
Yeah,
know why they're so
I don't know.
popular.
They're alright,
Yeah, they're alright.
I guess.
Like all the reoccurring themes, like there's Tomberries, Chocobos, Sid. Tomberries I don't get.
They're little homicidal gremlins with knives, I guess.
Speaking of, the new fan design units should be soon.
Soon, with a big
So
TM,
do we
yes.
think that we're gonna have another damage dealer whose design is a garbage fire like original Elisferus?
I just
Hopefully not.
got my 14th Lesperus this week. 14th.
My condolences,
On
Hazard.
the bright side, I think that global exclusive units are probably the most likely to get Neovisions. Because I think there's a lot of older units that might not ever. Like I would be surprised if we ever see a Neovision for like Elephim or something.
I don't think we'll get ones necessarily for all the global exclusives, but at least some of them will.
I mean, Alim did
Some of the old ones.
Alim did say like designing Neovision units does take a lot more effort than
Who do I
designing
want
normal
to
get a
units. So,
Neovision?
Well, they have brave shifts. So.
yeah.
Right, Shadow.
This is gonna sound strange coming from me. I want to see what they would do if they gave Kaito a brave shift. I think there could be something interesting there where he switches between putting up dots and then changing it into like a chainer or a tank or something. I don't know.
It could actually work.
That actually might be a really cool idea. It'd be cooler than anything they're doing. Like, congrats, another cloud.
I don't trust them to do it well, but I'll be interested to see it.
But if we have to trust between Alim or Gumi, I trust Gumi 200% of the time. So, Gumi, please.
Yeah, let's be honest.
There was a question that somebody asked about what Neovision unit that we want to happen of the GLEX units, I guess.
That's the question I literally just answered.
Ciao.
Well, yeah, I know
Ciao.
you did, but
we didn't reread it. You
that's
were already
obvious.
answering it before we read it.
Any specific ones, I guess.
I mean, mine would probably be Dr. Iden. I think Dr. Iden in NV form would be really interesting.
Not phasey.
Not phasey.
I think there's some global exclusive units where Neovisions would let them actually execute a little bit better on their original concept. Like Beryl could actually have a light and a dark mode. White Knight Noel could
Beryl's
actually
the
be a
obvious
mage
one.
tank. I don't think that would work well, just because you don't want your tank to stop tanking, but they could try.
The other thing is Esper units. I thought about this, but I feel like if Esper units got Neovisions, their brave shift will obviously be their combined form. So how would that look like in mechanic terms? I've been thinking about that recently.
I mean, you wouldn't really have to do anything much different mechanically, but visually it'll be a lot
would be
nicer.
They would definitely be in the group of Neovisions where their brave shift is the same role as their original one and just like a different spin on it, or one of the ones where they flip between their two forms to make the most of their damage.
Can we not encourage them to make more Esper units though, please? Like, no more. Just stop doing them.
We've got most of them out of the way.
I think we got all of them.
There's only so many Espers, right?
We haven't got Esper Season 3 units yet.
Yeah, well, we have all the same ones as JP.
Wait, we don't have Esper Nico, like Nico and Leviathan.
Yeah, Nicol and Sakura are the obvious missing ones.
Yeah, and at one point they'll probably get it, but maybe they'll get Envy first before that. Who
There's
knows?
a question if we think that the Fan Festa units, the ones that got the upgrades, will get enhancements, because they had enhancements before, and then their enhancements went away when they got the upgrades.
No, not
for the enhancements.
None of them had got enhancements.
Only
they just got straight up buffs.
Had enhancements and got those wiped out. Oh, actually, and
Kryla.
Not Kryla. It was Christine. Pretty sure.
Didn't Kryla have enhancements too? I think they both.
Yeah, Kryla had enhancements too.
Both of their enhancements got wiped.
I'm not sure if they'll get enhancements. I think it's unlikely. I think that these were kind of treated as their enhancements, except that they were just made free instead. And it kind of let them polish out some of the issues with their kits by completely rebuilding them from the ground up. But I could be wrong. It's hard to say because we don't have any precedent here.
But it'll be nice for them to have enhancements again, like just to bring them up to the meta, I guess. Because Fan Festa units were very popular.
I certainly hope they get enhancements, but I think from Gumi's point of view, there's not much reason for them to give units a third, or I guess a fourth lease on life. They might get latents at some point, but it seems to me like they usually go, the unit comes out, it's hopefully good. It gets enhancements later. It's hopefully good again, and then they get the latents, and maybe that brings them to relevance a third time, and then that's it. They're gone.
Unim asked if you could pick the next unit to get latents, who will be picked? Well, for me,
Dark-
it'll probably be Sid, I guess.
Dark Knight Cecil.
Dark Knight Cecil, 100% for me.
Sid.
Night
They were
Delita.
so good.
Oh, okay.
What?
What's this? Is this simping for Hazard? Hello?
I just wanted to make Hazard feel bad because he didn't pick the right unit.
No, I just think that Dark Knight Cecil was the one that everyone was kind of
Isn't
looking
he-
forward to that just got
Isn't
completely
he really
destroyed.
bad now? Like, didn't he only do like? I think it was like
He-
24
yeah, he wouldn't be
million.
that good now anyway. It got him to around, well, it was like 19 with low external support and like 24
Yeah.
with high external support.
But at the time, that was really
Yeah.
good.
But not anymore.
Yeah, it was very solid for the time, but now it's not good.
Now that's free MK event unit.
I'm just looking at Kurzami's right now. His is really good. Like he gets
That is
Yeah,
why
well,
Dream is
mainly
ruling
the
over
passive.
it.
the
Yeah.
passive is just
I think
wow.
if we get Kurosami's, they would nerf it because it's probably too strong. With combined with its GLEX enhancements.
I think if they waited like one more month, then it would be fine. Because it's already not. He wouldn't be as strong as Bahamut Dark Fina currently. So they've already like crossed his threshold, but
Dreamy had a good idea though. Let's see if we can get questions that are not FFBE related.
Eat pant.
to that question I answer
No,
no.
you.
Who is the next confirmed podcast
No,
guest?
you.
I don't think we have anybody lined up yet. We've idly talked about inviting
Yeah.
some people. I'm not sure that we've reached out to anyone in particular, aside from Defiant Hermit a while ago, who, like I said, was busy and couldn't come.
We've told you, Square Enix Justin is obviously going to be the next guest.
Well, real talk though, we are in discussions with him. I don't know if it'll get approved, but we are in discussions with Justin to see if he can come on the podcast. I've also reached out to a couple other people that would be really interesting to have. And there's also Tomato. He can come on anytime.
We might be
I
able
actually
to
do want to
get
have Tomato on.
we might be able to get
Yeah.
Fujimoto. I know his nephew.
Oh really? My uncle works at Gumi.
I like the phrasing of that, where like it's like we have a bunch of exciting people we potentially go on, and then we could also get Tomato.
That was the joke, Dream. Thanks for explaining it.
If there's anybody you guys are particularly interested in seeing, like I personally want to hear Ligard and what he has to say about the game, I guess, because he's such a big part of the.
I would like to
community.
see Ligard. I thought he said once that he had doesn't he have hearing damage? He might have issues doing a podcast if he can't hear us well.
Oh, Lady Hero is a great suggestion.
Mm.
Gonzi the Mage, I'd love to have on as well. We're trying to get Nasta. You know, we're always trying to get Nasta on.
Slowly chipping away at
One
him.
thing that I want to happen is we need to get all the meth people in here. So get Furcula, Dangdar, and Wata all in one podcast, and see what we can get out of that.
Yeah.
The whole
Oh, boy.
podcast, you're basically be talking in code or math or whatever. I'll be snorting maths. Like, I don't think people will be
I
interested
kind
to
of want
hear
to get
that.
Fencer on so that he can talk about the wiki,
Maybe
because
just-
I think a lot of people don't realize how much work he does on that.
Can tell everyone to go back to global discussion.
Slime would be a great one. too.
Elytra,
Yeah.
Tomato mentions Elytra. She would be an amazing guest, and I've been working on it, so we'll see.
Soon, TBD.
Shali, I would love to have Shali on the pod as well, but I know that that I've heard from other people that she's basically not allowed. There was another content creator that tried to get her on video, I believe, and they went through the whole process and were denied. So I don't have high hopes for that, but we're definitely happy to reach out and see.
We're gonna get so many people, and I do agree that we need more guests sometimes. Clake was a great one. Clake was a great breath of fresh air for our podcast. And until we get Until the day we get Fujimoto on this podcast, that's our end goal. That's our end game.
No, the end game would be us.
That's
No, wouldn't the end game be us being invited to host the Fan Festa?
Get Fujimoto, get cancelled.
That would be the ultimate end game.
Yeah, but like with COVID being a thing, we won't be hosting a Fan Festa anytime soon.
Yeah.
So.
And even then, I bet like it'll be in America, and therefore like only 3 of us will be able to get there.
2.
Probably.
Is it 2? Muspel and Hazard.
Muspel, Hazard,
Shadow
and
still has
Shadow.
to fly over.
I still have to fly over, but it's. It's.
Okay. I thought you were in the same place.
We're in the same time zone, but we're like miles apart.
I thought you were only like a few hours away.
Okay.
Me and Muspel could meet up easily. We only live like maybe 30 or 40 minutes away.
Yeah. I mean, not doing that right now, obviously, because there's a pandemic.
Yeah.
But
It's like, I mean, for me, it already kind of feels like it's past here. We kind of dealt with it.
Yeah. The U.S. has not done a good job with this.
In my state, in one state over in Victoria, the shit is happening. In my state, it's okay.
Yeah, and Canada wants to keep its borders closed to keep you guys in there. Thanks.
By the way, I was listening to Jim Gaffigan's one of his newer, because he's a comedian.
No,
I do.
Never heard of them.
Muspel's got to know. Yeah, there we go. He does a whole skit on Regina versus Regina, by the way.
Yeah, but Bharos isn't here, so.
Oh dear.
Wait. There is a whole skit? Okay. What is the skit about?
Oh,
Can you send the link to Bharos, please?
He's in Canada. He's talking about
Just
Canadian
send Bharos
things.
a link.
And he basically says that all of Saskatchewan is perverted because their city's named Regina.
Okay, you can't call Fercula pervert like that. I mean, what? So...
What?
What? I'm very confused right now.
He's from Saskatchewan. But anyways, yeah, Regina is what I was taught when I was growing up, like, in Canada. Like, that's how you pronounce that word when you see that word. So, to me, it's still Regina. And whenever I talk about FFBE with my other friends here, we say Regina all the time, and it's just normal. So all the pronunciations that I have, it's from where I'm from. It's not just me. It's all my friend group. So, fuck you.
Hot pockets. Thanks for coming out to our 26th episode. Appreciate you guys, all the support you've given us. I know. And we haven't made a dime, and I think we're happy to keep it that way. It's just nice to have fun doing this rather than feel like it's a job, for sure. So, but thank you guys for listening and supporting us with all your comments. Please continue to listen. Let us know what suggestions you've got, and we'll see you guys all next week.
Cheers.
And as a final closing word, get good, eat pan.